The new Corolla Cross. Fill it with friendship and family. The new Corolla Cross. Filled with life.
iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. I've got a strange.
I've said that thousands of times for the past 5 years. I think the most thing I've ever said is iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. If you think about the number of videos that we've done. It sounds strange when someone else was doing it. Yeah.
Mr. Nkewu, benibona la umdlalo namhlanje. Suppose ukuthi nime no junior namhlanje, but I have to ukuthi nime nawe uzawumela ujunior namhlanje.
Ndingenehlangano ezinkulu.
Kumele hlele ezinkulu, but ke besibukela umdlalo we-CAF Confederations Cup between the Chiefs ne-Zesco. Umdlalo obalulekileyo. Previous results between these two teams, Zesco have had the upper hand between bona ne-Kaizer Chiefs. But namhlanje Kaizer Chiefs making sure ukuthi they rewrite history by beating them and collecting maximum points. Umdlalo namhlanje ubone njani we-Chiefs ne-Zesco?
Yeah, manibulise Tashen, ndibulise nakubaphulaphula nababukeli emakhaya. Uchairman Junior Kanye, Chairman West Junior Kanye Foundation will join us on Tuesday and Wednesday. There was a big celebrity match that they were playing, so that's why I have to step in the shoes. Into engazange ndayenza kubulisa abantu base-KTC.
Now this is the opportunity.
I've actually never done that to greet people from my hood. Ngicela abantwana bayekamtshaya insanga. Okanye baneyitshaya kakhulu itshayeni leso. Ngibulisa bonke abantu base-KTC niye kuphafa iganja. Yabo.
Baba uthi inyama nasi inyama erenkini enyanga. Bakayeke insanga.
Basela negomla niye kusela igomla. Isela umqombothi kodwa nibancinci yabo. So anyways, that's a small shout out to my community where I come from. It's unbelievable when they see me, they think that we never think someone like you who comes from us, could end up where you end up. I thought, Shane, that game was a strange game. There was a point in the second half where I was looking at everyone, yourself, Justice, Ubobo, Tso, Machaga, and I was like, I feel like these guys are sleeping because there were phases in this game where the game was not going anywhere. Congratulations to Kaizer Chiefs, as you say, they've been struggling to beat Zesco historically. And they go to Zambia, they get 3 points, so congratulations. But of course, there's a game that was played here, and our job is always to talk about performances. And I thought that was a poor performance, especially, I'm actually more critical of Zesco because they're the home team. Chiefs, Chiefs is supposed to be singing to the tune of Zesco, not the other way around. In fact, at some point in this game, it was a poor game. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a poor game. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. That's why I thought everyone was just sleeping. However, between these two teams, if you were trying to figure out, if you were just sitting there and you didn't know who is who, you would have thought that Chiefs were the home team. Not because they were dominant, because I think the field itself was not conducive for someone to play decent football. But there were phases in that first half where I thought Mabue, specifically Ndlovu, they were able to combine turn. They were the only midfield. Good Chiefs versus Zesco. The Chiefs midfield were the only one that were willing to receive the ball, turn with it, try and find a teammate. And I think that that's the most important thing. Although Chiefs did not do it consistently, it didn't do it enough. Because if they were doing it consistently, when they received the ball and turn, they would have been able to see there's Mayo making a run, there's Mfundo Vilakazi making a run, and they couldn't do that for those attacking players. So yes, well done to Kaizer Chiefs for the 3 points, but I thought that it was a really poor game. And I know that honest people who love Kaizer Chiefs will know, number one, we're happy with the 3 points, but we thought that was a poor game because it was poor. But I'm more critical of Zesco because you have to make the other team suffer. I watched Zesco against Al Masry. They were playing at the same stadium, Liva Monawasa Stadium. They scored 2 goals and they were so buzzing going forward. It was actually on a Friday at 3 p.m., Chisilang. But I don't understand how today, of all days, they were not able to give that performance. I don't know whether it's the effect, because I think this weekend has been disappointing. And I'm trying to think, why were we disappointed to see Pirates and Skokone, both of them poor? Sundowns and Al Hilal, both of them poor, even though there were 4 goals, but still poor. I'm thinking, is it because of the AFCON break? I think maybe part of it is that as well, that the teams are not giving us the best match performances. But of course, Kaizer Chiefs, well done. You get those 3 points. And I think they've given themselves a fighting chance as well to be able to be in the picture, because only 2 teams out of 4 will go to the next round. And we thought that Egyptians, Al Masry and Zamalek, will be able to go through to the next round. And it looks like Egypt's they're putting their name in the hat to say, Nati, we want to be able to go to the next round. And I think if they can secure next week the next 3 points, it means all they need out of Al Masry or Zamalek, if you can steal a win or a draw, then you will be in that picture as well. But if they beat Zesco next week in South Africa, and then with the 2 matches remaining with the Egyptians, get one of them, lose one, win one, then you will be in the next round. However, it's world-class analysis to be able to look at the result and see a 4-0 and still be critical of what you're seeing in terms of performance, because the performance is a good indicator of what you're going to see going forward. So if a team is performing poorly, Tashane, they're giving you an idea of where they will be in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time. So as Chiefs were not able to combine, they did briefly with Umabu and Ospesi, as their attackers were not availing themselves. On the left, Umodi, Mfundo Vilakazi on the right, Central Umayo plus Silva were not available for the ball. Maybe get 2-3 steps closer. Then it kind of tells us that maybe this is how you train and maybe this is how you will play in future. Of course, we're not gods. We don't know that that's how they're going to play. But what we know is what we've seen. And what we've seen today and matches before is that there isn't much in the way of creativity. And another aspect of world-class analysis is the ability to ask yourself 2 main questions. Did we win or did they lose? I'm going to explain the difference.
Okay.
Did we win, one, or did they lose? You play against Golden Arrows. We were here. Watch Golden Arrows. You have to ask yourself the question. Chiefs is dominant in that game. In fact, at halftime, and we were thinking, all of us, so Junior, all of us, we were thinking, okay, this game is not that great, but if anyone deserves anything, it's Chiefs.
Chiefs,
Now, world-class analysis asks questions. Uguti, when we played here, because world-class analyzers and people who run football clubs, data analysts and sporting directors, they always want to understand, Uguti, are we that good or are they that poor? So when you look at Golden Arrows, you have to ask that question, did we win or did they lose? If you find the answer to that question, it will inform your next game. You play Zesco, did you win or did they lose? And it will inform your next game as well. If your answer all the time is always to say they lost, even though, of course, on the scoreline and people who are betting, you won. But if your answer as an analyst, as a sporting director, as a technical director, as the technical team, coaches and assistants, everyone, if your answer when you are in that meeting says they lost, it means they lost because of a mistake they did, not because of our dominance. Now, what you want to find, Natasha, in football is the ability to dominate opposition. And that's why this is almost like it was a Sundowns era for a long time, and we gave them that respect. Sometimes we are mistaken of being Sundowns fans when we are not. We gave them their props. And now we are coming to a Pirates era, because Pirates is playmaking in many of the matches, and that's why they've been winning so many trophies, because they don't rely much on the mistakes of the opposition. They force them to mistakes, but also they play make. And Sundowns were doing that as well, to put you in a position where you're not going to win. And I think that what Kaizer Chiefs should be doing now is to scrutinize, are they winning or is the opposition losing? For now, of course, it's convenient. Sometimes you can even win a league title because the opposition keeps on losing against you, not because when you are winning. Coaches like Gavin Hunt, for example, would win on set pieces and win on, they call it maximum football. It's like you have minimum touches off the ball, 3-4 touches, it's in the box, you score, but you're not dominating the game altogether. Now, there's a limit to how far that can take you. So Chiefs, you clap your hands for yourself as the fans, but the problem is, can you replicate these performances? Now, when you dominate people, you can be able to repeat it because your midfielders were dominant, your attackers were buzzing, they were energetic, they were eliminating people. You know, how many shots did Usilva take? How many shots did Umayo take? How many shots did Mfundo Vilakazi take? And this is not criticism. This is how you improve performances as a football team.
Mr. Nkewu, just before Sivale, yabona siku stage esinzima, especially if you focus on Kaizer Chiefs.
Sure.
Baku top 4. Or let's just say Baku top 5 because you said Amazulu won. Now
Amazulu are now number 4 and Chiefs are 3. So this is Sukune clear.
Oh, Sukune, okay, yeah. Now tell me, Kaizer Chiefs kayijonga la log ye Premiership izibone ukuthi number 3. Kayijonga ilog ye CAF Confederations kabe ibone ukuthi okay, we still have a chance yokuthi we can go all the way mhlawumbe and possibly win it. Base khona ku Nedbank Cup but anizuthetha kakhulu because ayikadlala. Yes, but ndifuna uthetha ngezi zimbini xa bejonga ilog babone ukuthi we still within chance. Do you think mhlawumbe i-confidence ye-players Kaizer Chiefs even without influence ye-coaching?
Sure.
Don't you think mhlawumbe i-confidence ye-players xa bejonga le log nabo ingabaphusha ukuthi baze with more results for the team?
I think that's a brilliant question, Tashane, and I always ask it to the guys as well, because I think anyone who's played football, whether you're amateur, you don't even have to play, but we administrator, you are a coach, we amateur football.
Yeah.
Every week, nathi ku amateur football besiyenza lento. There's a log that there's 16 of you there. If you find yourself at number 3, you start dreaming about what you could possibly do. Now, with the Chiefs, my concern was that they could look at themselves in that log, and I have multiple concerns on that. They see themselves at number 3, Chiefs. And I think the mindset of the management is that at least we have improved from being number 10, which is a poor way of them looking at it. Now, with the players, they can gain the motivation to say, maybe this will help us because we are in the picture. And this is what the conversation we're having with Utsono Junior previously, before we call the second round, was that can they not look at themselves at number 3 and say, this is a great opportunity for us to do something? But then the management has to play its part to say, now that we see you guys at number 3, you are 2 points away from Pirates and Sundowns. We will strengthen here, we will strengthen there, because there's a lot of young players. I like Aiden. I think that he's getting used to being a professional. And I think that there's a challenge there in that there's no defined role. Uyabancedisa is helping them at left back, but Aiden was introduced to us as a centre back, for example. But I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying that there's a lot of young players in key positions. You go up front, Mfundo, Vilakazi, there's Mdusha, Balala. You go in the middle as well. There's young players there. Now, the management should have looked at it. The players can be confident and be buzzing to say, we're number 3 and only 2 points away. But your management will be the one that takes out the checkbook. Now, if you compare it with the kings of South African football, Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, they are kings because they're good on the field of play. No matter how big Chiefs are outside the field of play, Pirates and Sundowns are the kings on the field of play. They looked at their challenge. Sundowns sees Pirates as a challenge, Pirates sees Sundowns as a challenge. And they said to themselves, let's sprinkle 3 players in the positions that we need to strengthen. And the other team does the same thing as well. And then by Asba, it's a 2-horse race. Whoever makes a mistake between the 2 of us, which is Sundowns and Pirates, whoever makes the mistake, South Kabela Sambe, so by national championship. So there's that context. Now with Chiefs, the players could wish for it, but the management would have needed to help them as well, to strengthen them. Is there any other deadly striker that's there in Africa or at home that they can help them with maybe guaranteed 15 goals or 10 goals? In the conversation, were they there now? Can they not go and twist the arm of Stellenbosch and see Tiana, the midfielder? They can get him now. You must always Undlovu. I just forgot his name. Sianda Ndlovu. Good Golden Arrows. Was a white player, was player of the month at some point. Can you not go? How much do you want from this player? Maybe we could give you 2 players and we will get to Sianda Ndlovu, because most likely, because the Pirates is very good at establishing relationships, Undlovu angavelamba Pirates, because the Pirates is clever, they're very good. Dr. Ivan Kos is very good at establishing relationships. If he's a good player at Golden Arrows and Chippa United, first preference will be Pirates, because Pirates is able to help those teams when they are in their time of need, to loan them players, to give them money behind the scenes, to buy players, to help those teams. So Chiefs need to put themselves in those kind of relationships and conversations as well, to say, can we not take Undlovu? For example, in the final Pirates, Marumo Gallants, there's a midfielder, Upanse. He plays for Marumo Gallants. And people will forget him easily. And there's Cisse, we just saw from Golden Arrows as well. That's your midfield. And you take Undlovu, you take Upuso Titejane, maybe you look at some of the players at Stellenbosch as well. Now, as you strengthen, you're strengthening lesser than Pirates and Sundowns. When you're strengthening, you're playing a different game. This is what Brentford and Brighton are doing in England. You're strengthening with players who are equally as good as some of the Pirates and Sundowns players, but you're paying less money. And then you say, let's go to war, guys. And you tell the team, you call them into a meeting, you say, Matota, galiwa up. Sung number 3. Singabayeki bahamba by 2. Because the Soweto Derby also will play a part in this title race. It will play a part because Chiefs might take points from Pirates, and when they play Sundowns, they've already taken points from Sundowns in that 1-1 draw, 0-0 draw, with Unabi being a head coach. I know Justice wants us to close. I'm going to close with one more thing. There's a young man called Mfundo Vilakazi. He's a lovely young player, Mfundo Vilakazi, with great potential. I want to pose something to us, all of us, plus the people who are watching at home, about young players. Young players, they develop differently and they grow up differently, all of them. When we saw Riyad Norodin and Abubakar Mubara at Ajax Cape Town, they went to the Olympics, they hit the ground running. When we saw Rivaldo Kosia as a 20-year-old playing defensive midfield, those young players, Abo Serrero, they were 20 years old. All of these players, and recently we saw Unkota, we saw Umbogazi, we saw Umufugeng. And those players are giving us one impression of the development chart of a young player. Yeah. So you were 15, we picked you up, and you did well. And by the time you're going to go professional, you did well too. It continued. Yeah, but there's another side to young players, the side of inconsistency. And that's the more common side of young players, is that let us not compare, not necessarily that I think people are comparing, but young players, when you put them in the team, they will start performing. Most young players, the norm in global football is that they get used to the job on the job. So Mfundo, we were talking about him, his impact in Golden Arrows 3 days ago. Today, bayamqala, and there was no impact. Yeah. Not a lot of touches, no elimination, no shots at goal. Now, I'm saying to us, myself, all of us, and South Africa, to say, let us understand that young players develop at a completely different rate. Some of them will hit the ground running. Mubara at the Olympics. They were 21-year-old kids, and we were happy to see them. Unkota immediately was the mayor of Algiers. He went to Belouizdad, he went to MC Alger. He scored in a very big city in Africa. He scored 3 goals. 2 goals against Belouizdad, 1 goal against MC Alger in the quarterfinal. Umdana, a young kid. Now, that's one aspect of it. It has different graphs. Some players will just shoot up straight from being a 15-year-old kid, continue. Nabo Emil Vidboy. Now, even him is going through growing pains at Cape Town City. I watched them Friday, Emil Vidboy at Cape Town City. He's going through a different type of development now. Is that in some matches he's there, he's a game changer. Some games he's not there. And it can happen in the same 7 days. This Sunday, you do well, you are man of the match, you score 2 goals. Next Sunday, you are nowhere to be seen. And that is the development of young players. Ufundele msebenzini, you will learn on the job. And I think that Mfundo naye, he will learn PSL football on the job. And also, Tina Bantu be PSL, we've always followed PSL. We know some players will only mature at age 27, unfortunately. Or some of them will be matured at age 25. But Otebs are Ombule, when they were 18, 19, they were already professional players who were playing finals and deciding cup finals. So young players develop at different rates as well. Otherwise, well done to Kaizer Chiefs.
I had to pause because he wasn't stopping. I had to mind Mnyatela. But I think we learned something namhlanje. But okay, you're the one who's asking questions, but I think Baba surprised about in knowledge of football onayo. Not knowing what you didn't start this as just a lover of content, but you started this as also a lover of football. You know this thing called football. But namhlanje CAF Confederations Cup between the Kaizer Chiefs and Zesco Yapage Zambia. The Kaizer Chiefs here win a corner again 1-0. Kaizer Chiefs 1, Zesco FC 0. Thank you so much for watching iDiskiTV.
Hola Bafethu, this is Junior Kanye. Please subscribe to iDiskiTV.
This is Bongane Benedict Vilakazi, they call me so. Niyazi Bafethu, Amakhosi for life, they are back in winning ways. Please, subscribe to iDiskiTV.